arbiters, thank God, but it hurts a Terran to lose those tanks early on. But if you can pick off a few Protoss Dragoons, it really cushions the effect. And forGG looks like, I think he's only on one factory at this point, going into Starport, putting his armory and academy down, so really a Flash-esque build here, and now his second factory down, and I have to imagine he's going to get his command center up and start his third pretty soon. But the problem with this build on this map, and I'm seeing players do this a lot actually, and it kind of surprises me, is that Protoss can take that third base where they can, or the third gas rather, where they can oh my god, I hate DTs, but they can somewhat wall off there, whereas a Terran, they go for the flash build that relies heavily on gas, getting science vessels, double upgrades, and there's no gas expansion to take, and all the Terrans take the mineral only, and they're really, you know, it's a safe expansion to take, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's very effective, and I think Iris is one of the better players on maps like this in Return of the King, where he just goes for 5 or 6 factory 2 base pushes, and nobody does that anymore. And it seems like if players just tried that, I think it would be more effective, or at the very least, have some balls and play cheater Terran and just hide an expo somewhere. But, you know, I think, is there DTs in this shuttle? I think Free's going to try and do some damage here. I guess he's just hoping that forGG did some... Oh, wow, forGG's already going to have scanner, so I can't imagine this harassment's really going to do anything. Oh, command center!
Just be a little annoying.
Oh!
Oh my god, he got it!
Did he get that? Wow.
I think he got it. I don't know. Oh, he started...
I don't know, forGG put it up right away, though. Maybe not, yeah. Hopefully he didn't.
I hope he did. Go free. Yeah, but I mean, if he didn't, then he really is not doing any damage. Is he gonna go for it again here? Does he know he has a scanner? Oh, get out of there! Get out of there, shuttle! Get out! Run! Okay, he's okay. Just one thing to note.
No, there's nothing valuable in that shuttle, though, so.
One thing to note is that Free went for the... Oh, wow, there's gonna be a drop going on. And this drop is gonna see the quick arbiter tech, too, and just in case you didn't already know, but it's gonna do damage, too. I don't think Free has any units in the vicinity. His main is completely undefeated.
Oh, wow.
Okay, no, he's got a couple
Two goons pop out. I hate Protoss.
That's nice. He's got an observer there too. Good job by Free keeping an observer close to his base. He's not going to take an extreme amount of damage. Although forGG does now know that the arbiters are coming out very quickly, but it doesn't... I don't think that really matters because forGG went for a really quick starport, really quick scan and armory anyway, so he was going to be well prepared for arbiters either way. Looks like... Oh wow, the dropship's coming back. He's going to shuttle some more units in here. I guess he's counting on the fact that Free wouldn't expect another drop right away. I mean, but this... I don't know if this is going to work out. It depends what Free did with his Dragoon.
It's only 2 vultures though. I mean, they already... Yeah. Well, he already invested in the drop tech. I think he's really just disrupting Free's mining. I mean, you see how Free's forced to pull the probes in fear of losing his probes. So, I mean, he's just doing little economic harasses. And I don't know if I agree with the early starport. Like, on a map where you can take an island expansion, I think this is an excellent build, but once again, if you're just going to expand to a mineral only, I don't think the early starport is really that valuable. Like, sure, +2/+1 or even +3/+2 is really good, but if you don't have 3 factories pumping out tanks non-stop to support that, I don't think it's worth it. And look, I mean, Free has gone off of 3 bases, and even though they say that 3-base Terran or 3-base toss is good against a 2-base Terran, I mean, forGG is going to be hurting because Free's going to take another base, and Free's going to be off of 4 gas, where forGG is only going to have those 2 gas in his mineral only. So I would say once forGG gets this expo up and Free puts his counter expansion up, I would say Free is in a slight lead, especially considering forGG's factory count is pretty abysmal at this point. I mean, it's already, what, 13 minutes into the game, and he's only has 5 or 6 factories.
Yeah, I would say Free has the lead in this game. I mean, forGG, like you said, he's just getting the mineral only up right now, and Free is counter expanding him perfectly. I mean, forGG is going to have his upgrades up pretty early, but I mean, Free started arbiter production so early that by the time forGG's first push comes out, Free is going to be well prepared for it. And like you said, because forGG is not going to have a third gas, okay, another drop here, but this isn't really going to do a lot of damage. Free is well ready for this. Because forGG doesn't have that third gas, he's not going to be able to rebuild his first push. So, I mean, he's basically going to have to do so much damage with his first push because he doesn't have 3 machine shops to rebuild those tanks really quickly. And I don't think he's going to be able to do that because the arbiters are going to have been out for so long for Free. I mean, he's already got his second arbiter out, I think. The first one's going to have a huge amount of energy. Like, he might even have like 4 or 5 stasises by the time forGG's first push comes out. And I mean, that's just so much to deal with. I mean, unless you have like perfect EMP. it's going to be a real fucking problem for forGG to gain any kind of ground in that kind of battle. Free just kind of playing passively and doing the right thing. He's just going to keep expanding and force forGG to come to him, and probably going to stasis the fuck out of him when he does. And that's just like the perfectly right thing to do. Especially on a map like this where he knows it's really hard for forGG to get that third gas. I mean, you don't even have to recall into the main on a Terran in this map. You just recall and deny them from getting that third gas, and that's all you really need to do if you have a lot of bases yourself.
Yeah, and the DT there, I mean, he's got the Dragoons and the Arbiter in the bottom base, then the DT on the right side, and forGG actually sending another dropship.
Oh my God.
There is a photon cannon there. I don't know how much damage that's going to do, but it's still being annoying. But, I mean, he's losing a lot of forces here. Like, there's no reason, especially when your tank count is going to be this low. Not to say it's low, but lower than it could be, I guess. If he's losing tanks like this, these tanks are really valuable. And, I mean, what did he get, like 3 probes right there? That's almost never worth it to trade tanks for probes unless you can take out, like, a whole expansion or take out a Nexus. And you know, I really like Free's gateway placement. Like, it seems like forGG's factories are kind of all over the place. You know, they are by the ramp, but Free's, you know, gateways are real close, and I think that's, you know, although it's really not a huge deal, it really helps macro a lot, especially at the point where Free's going to be maxed out, and he's going to be adding more gateways here pretty shortly. And a better base structure, I think, helps him a little bit, considering forGG was kind of panicked when he was going into the mid-game because he was dealing with that early Dragoon pressure. He didn't really get the perfect SimCity base placement, and it actually looks like forGG's moving out. This is +2, +1 push. He's probably about 160 to 170 supply, and by the time he hits the middle of the map, he's going to be maxed out. forGG playing really careful there, but wow, Free just has so many units, and he's got a single Arbiter. Normally the timing for this push, you would hit it before the Arbiter comes out. The Arbiter would just be building, but just like you said, Free went for the early Arbiter, and so he's going to have it out, and he's going to have at least 1 stasis, if not 2, for this push. And wow, so forGG's SCVs are already mined out. Yeah, he's got the second one out too. I don't know if it has energy for stasis. I mean, it's going to all come down to this battle right here.
Oh, he got it.
Good EMP.
He got the Arbiter. That was a great EMP. Well done. I think that's the Arbiter. That's the first Arbiter, so that's probably the one that had full energy. Oh, and here the DT comes into play. What is he doing, man? Get over there with that DT. The whole point of that is to stop the SCV.
It's on patrol.
Yeah, it's on patrol, but the SCV snuck by. Oh, wow. If that ends up costing him the game, I mean, that's going to be a huge blunder. But I think he's going to be able to crush this push right here if he gets some good stasis. Oh. It was a good EMPs that went off earlier, but it's just not enough. I mean, so many units, a great stasis there, and Free just had a massive
That was a huge
army.
Macro advantage from Free.
Yeah,
Free just had so many more units. I don't even think the stasis made it different. No, I don't think so either. I mean, the EMPs were good, but it's too little, too late. I mean, this is the kind of game where you have to wait for 200 if you're the Terran. It really, he should not have pushed out this early. It was a bad move. I mean, he wanted to take that gas, and the best way to take it is by pushing out, but I just don't think that it was the right thing to do. I mean, why face a 200 Protoss army when you're 170 when you could do it when you're 200? I mean, he's already out macroing you, so why not? You know what I mean? Why not wait? Right.
Anyway,
but one thing I want to point out, and it seems like it's been really difficult for Terrans to take the third gas. I mean, forGG had an idea. I mean, he went for the vulture-heavy, mineral-only push. It just doesn't seem to be effective. We've seen forZG, who had the advantage early on, kind of throw it away with going for a build like this, and it just seemed like Free's build was so much more powerful. I mean, just like you said, Free almost played a perfect build order for this map. I mean, opening with the 10-15 gateway early pressure, extremely safe to any sort of rush, and also can put a lot of pressure on forGG. Then he goes straight into the shuttle with the Dark Templar and taking his third base, so he'd be really safe against some sort of 4 factory push. Oh man, nice stasis.
Is going down.
But he'd be really safe against an early push, getting the shuttle and the DTs out, and then right into Arbiters on a map where it was just so difficult to get science vessels out because you don't have your third gas. So overall, I think Free was, not only did his control really save him there, but I guess he was just a lot more prepared for the map, and he played a much stronger build than forGG did. But, you know, not to credit that all to the build or the map, because I think overall Free played better than forGG. I don't think forGG really did anything that impressed me that game. He just almost played like a standard cookie cutter Terran, which is not usually something you see from forGG.
No, forGG is usually leaning more on the creative side, especially in TVP. But yeah, I mean, what can you say? Free was totally prepared for this game. He knew what he was doing. He was, I mean, he was pretty much in control for most of the game. The drops by forGG were kind of cute for the first couple, but then after that it slowly just got more pointless, and he just got overran. I mean, he really should have waited for 200-200. It was well played by Free, and we want to keep this in 2 parts. I could probably talk forever, but we want to keep this down to 2 parts. So unless you have any final thoughts
GG,
here,
game 3, final game of the night. Peace out, guys.
Peace out.